Hi friends, this is Alejandra from the Westmont Public Library. Today we're going to be making DIY garden lighthouses where I'm going to be using clay pots. You can use this with plastic as well. Clay pots just are really sturdy so they won't blow away easily since there's not going to be anything inside them, and they also stack up really nicely in the shape that we want them, and they tend to stay there. So these are just what I'm going to be using, but if you've got something else that you think will work, then by all means, please do that. So this is what it's going to look like assembled. I also went ahead and I got a tiny little lamp. It does not work. It is not a functional lamp, but I think it looks really cute at the very, very top. So I have 5 pieces. This bottom pot is 8 inches. This next one is 4 inches. The next one is 2 inches. And then I've got a 4-inch clay saucer. And I believe this one is just an inch. And that is at the very top. So these are just the sizes that got me how tall I wanted it. You can make it taller if you'd like, you can make it smaller, but just be careful because if you get them in different sizes, then the way they stack up will be just a little bit different. So this worked really well for me. Again, it's 8, 4, 2, and then 1. This saucer is also 4 inches, and that is just what I preferred. But again, feel free to make it your own, make it smaller, make it bigger, whatever you'd like. So once you've put it together and you can kind of see how it's gonna look, I'm gonna start to map out what I want. So in terms of design and color, it is completely up to you. I've seen black and white, I've seen red and white, blue and white, red and blue. Those are just the most common colors that I've seen, but you can do random designs if you've got little kids helping you, and depending on how many kids you have that are helping you, maybe you each could take a pot and design it their own way, and then you put it all together at the very end. That would look really cool too. I'm just gonna go with a very basic white and red design. So I've got my red and white paint over here. I also have yellow. This will just be for the windows. I also have some black for the window and door outlines. And then I've got a little bit of brown just for the actual door. These are just the paints that I'm gonna use. Again, feel free to do something entirely different. You don't even have to design it like an actual lighthouse. That's just kind of what I have envisioned for this guy. So I already kind of started to map out what I wanted. I will be doing red, white. So I'm gonna be doing the rims of all the pots red. So red, white, red, white, red, white. This saucer will be red, and then the very top will be white because the little lantern at the top is red. So I wanted alternating colors. So I did take a pencil and I wrote that out just because I know that otherwise I'm going to get confused and forget. This is also a really good time if you're planning on doing a design or sort of the swirl design that you see on some of them to map it out with a pencil. You won't be able to see it underneath the paint. I don't have to do that, but I do have to add windows and a door. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of find where I think a door would go. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just a little mapped out so you can kind of see what you're gonna do and maybe not paint that part. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do a window up here, just a square window with 4 panels, and that'll just help me again place the paint. A smaller window up here with 4 panels, and then I'm going to take this little one and do just a tiny little window up here as well. All right, so you can kind of see it if you want to come this way. This is what yours may look like, and if you see me I wrote red, white, because I wrote out the colors as well. These are my doors, and that is pretty much all I have to do to prep for it. Now I can start painting. I have my little paint palette, my paint brushes, and my paint, and that is really all you're gonna need. So again, feel free to have fun with the design. I'm gonna start painting these. I'm actually just gonna I'll start with the white, just because that might make it a little easier in case I make any mistakes. So let's start with that. And again, if you've watched any of our other videos, then you know if you're using paint and on a table or any furniture that you use frequently, please use some sort of covering for it. So that is what I did. So be careful with these guys when you're not painting it and you're not using it to design anything. Feel free to take these off. You'll see that my stickers didn't fully come off of one of them, but that's okay because it'll have stuff covering it up anyway. So then I'll move my little lantern. I'm gonna take my paintbrush and just start painting. So be careful with the, if you are planning on doing the rim a different color, just make sure you go around that. I also have my window to be mindful of, so I need to paint around the window, kind of like that. There we go. Otherwise, it's a fairly straightforward design, which I'm happy with. I think it'll look really cute. If you've got any, like any little candles that you would be willing to burn on top of this, while obviously you're with it, if it's outside, if it's in the house, that would look really cute as well at the very top of the lighthouse. We have cats, and this is actually going in the garden anyway, so that's not really an option for me, which is why I got that little lantern. But if you have anything that's similar to that, any candles that you could use, that would look really cute as well. So this is roughly what you get. You might need to do multiple coats for some of them because the white is it can be clear depending on which kind of paint you're using. I'm just using acrylic paint. All of these are acrylic. I will probably do at least 2 coats of each paint color. So now that that is done with a slightly smaller brush, because it is a slightly smaller area, I will be taking some of the red as well. And that is just the other color that I'm using for the rim of all the flower pots. So be a little careful. There you go. So taking some of that red on a paintbrush, and be careful not to get it on the white paint because that is a little hard to undo. But you're just going to take it around like that. And this is the smallest one that I have, so it is the easiest one to do. They'll get just a little bit more time consuming, and depending on what size you want, you could also just find a bunch of these mini ones and try to stack them and make just a really, really tiny lighthouse. If they're the exact same size, and they won't stack quite as well, but you could do that if you wanted to. So I'm just gonna take it around, and I will be doing the very top of this one because you will be able to see that, but I also want to be able to hold it while I'm painting. So that'll just have to wait till the very, very end, just because otherwise I won't be able to grab it anyway. So that's what we've got for the first one. And if you're going to be using white and any other color, then I would suggest you have 2 paintbrushes, only because it is really hard to get any other color off a paintbrush and then go back in with a white and get it a really crisp white. So now I'm just going to go in with the other one. Again, start with the white all the way at the top. Be mindful of the window. Kind of work around that. Just like that. So I'm going to keep painting these. Just the exact same design that I did with this white body and then red rim with all of these pots. The saucer I will just be doing red because it'll be at the very, very top. So that is what I'll do, and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's there. Okay guys, so I did 2 coats of the white paint and 2 coats of the red paint for each of these guys. So we are now ready to move on to the door and the windows. So I'm actually going to start it off with the windows first because I'm going to do them yellow, and then the brown paint is for the door right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the yellow and the brown, and then at the very end I'm going to outline the door and the windows with black, just to make them pop a little bit more. I accidentally painted over the window in this little one, but that's okay because I can just add it in later. Mistakes happen. So let's take this one. I'm gonna take a little bit of that yellow paint and just start to paint the window like this. And it's okay if it's not a perfectly shaped window. You can always fix it with the paint, or you can fix it with the black outline. It's okay. And I think the yellow windows and the brown door are also going to need 2 coats of paint each, just because that's what we did with the other two, and I wanted it to look really well put together. And I think it'll just need a second coat because the yellow paint is pretty thin. So that's what it looks like right now. And I'm gonna do the same for the other yellow windows, and I'm gonna have to just sort of make a little one here somewhere. And then same for the door. I'm gonna let them dry for a little bit and then give them each a second coat, and I will show you guys what it looks like when we're there. Okay guys, so the painting is done. I did realize that since this was the one that I completely painted white, and these I actually left the little empty spaces for the windows, it was way easier to cover in yellow paint when it was already painted white than when it was still the color of the clay. So if you're thinking about doing it, then I would just go ahead and paint the entire thing white or whatever base color you're using, and then paint, if you're gonna do windows, just paint the little box of windows afterwards, because it is actually much easier that way. And that makes sense, clay is a very dark color, white is not. But you learn things every day, and that is perfectly okay. So now we're ready to put it together. So this is the base. It's gonna be the biggest part. Again, this is the 8-inch clay pot. Then it's gonna be topped by the 4-inch, just like that. And be careful because they can get kind of heavy. So this is the 4-inch. This is the 2-inch up there. And then this is the 4-inch saucer again. I'm gonna put that little hat on right there. And then this is the 1-inch clay pot. Make sure it's on there nice and even so that it doesn't topple over. And then this is the little lamp that's gonna go on top of the lighthouse because we need some sort of light coming in. So this is what it looks like. Unfortunately, we can't show you what it looks like in the garden. It is raining outside. It's been raining all day. And it did get very muddy, so I will wait until a dry, sunny day to put this outside, but this is what it looks like. And again, you can do whatever design you'd like. If you have multiple people doing it, it would be really fun if everybody took just one pot and designed whatever they liked and then just put it together and see what you guys can come up with. But I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to the library's YouTube channel and to check out our digital library for anything related to lighthouses that you might be interested in learning about. And thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.